session on risk management. Throughout today's session, we're going to look at how we manage and deal with risk in a coaching environment, and obviously looking around at duty of care that we have for our sessions and our performance within those sessions. So firstly, what is the duty of care? Coaches owe a duty of care to athletes with whom they work that makes the coach-athlete relationship special. This may mean what is acceptable behaviour in the wider community is not acceptable when it occurs between an athlete and coach. So who has a duty of care regarding health and safety and well-being in sport? So ultimately, as a coach and someone organising sport, we are the person responsible to ensure that all our athletes and performers and children are safe at all times. In understanding risk management, it's really important to therefore have an understanding of the law of negligence. Basically, it's the area of the law that provides a remedy to people injured as a result of the act or omission of another person. It does not matter that the person who has caused the injury did not mean to hurt the injured person. So in terms of managing risk means that coaches need to fulfil their legal duties. Failure to do so is termed negligence. So negligence may occur because of an inappropriate act. So for example, maybe not making players wear shin pads in practice or training, maybe training when it's too hot or humid without adequate hydration, or failing to teach or use, the appropriate kind of teaching of a specific skill for a sport, maybe tackling, because obviously if you don't teach someone how to tackle properly, then they could do this incorrectly and then injure someone as a result of it. So all those kind of key points are acts or inappropriate acts or where we haven't fulfilled our duty. So how do we decide whether a coach is negligent for this behaviour? So the answers to all the following questions must be yes in order for a coach to be found negligent of behaviour. So the first one, did the coach have a legal duty to the injured party? Did the coach fail to fulfil this duty? Was there an injury to the athlete to whom the coach owed this legal duty to? And did the coach fail to fulfil the duty in which caused this injury? So if the answer is yes to all of those, then therefore you're kind of at fault. So moving forward, we need to understand the coach's legal duties and responsibilities when working with young people and working in the coaching environment. So youth coaches have a legal duty that they should understand is unique to their context in their sport. These duties have been developed by courts of law and they've changed over time and may vary from country to country. The best way for coaches to manage their risks is to ensure that they explicitly fulfil each of these duties. So these duties could include things like protecting the athlete from sexual abuse or harassment, evaluating athletes for injury, warning of inherent risks, and providing appropriate emergency assistance. Completing a coaching education programme with a risk management or sport law segment is, a key kind of thing for you as a coach you should look to be doing to upskill yourself if you haven't already done so. Risk management education certification is often mandatory for young or for programme leaders and supervisors of other coaches, but also for you as a coach. So referring back to the key points and the questions that I discussed, previously in terms of is a person negligent for their behaviour, again asking the following questions, I'd like you to think about the following example. So the questions were: did you have a legal duty for the injured party? Did you fulfil this duty? Was the injury to the party whom you had the duty for? And did you fail to fulfil this duty in cause of the injury? So here's the example. You have properly instructed a child to a pole vault. The pole vault is in excellent condition. The safety mats are in the correct position. As the girl who's completing the jump executes the jump, she takes off with the wrong angle, falling backwards, sustaining a serious injury. Who is to fault? Okay, I'd like you to spend a couple of minutes thinking about that scenario and actually asking the questions above and come up with an idea, jot some ideas down as well, who you think or what is to fault at this scenario. Okay, so the answer to this is that if no other factors are involved in her injury, it's a result of the inherent risk to pole vaulting, and therefore you were not negligent to that. So as long as you've informed the athlete that there's some inherent risks involved in this and how to avoid those, then you're not at fault. The athlete may have contributed it by not following your correct instructions. The only scenario that may question this is, perhaps if you gave them a skill or got them to do something new that was too difficult for them, and therefore, you as a coach would be at fault. So yes, there's questions that can be asked and you can go through that process, but there's obviously parameters within that in terms of it alters, you know, the outcome and depending on how you behave to that individual in that scenario. So it's worth, you know, when you're coaching and planning sessions, planning activities, to think about these key points in terms of your planning and processing to make sure your sessions and activities are safe. So specific hazards that athletes are maybe exposed to might be around their fitness levels. So are they ready to compete at a certain, you know, pace or endurance? Technique, so make sure you're teaching things correctly. Personal kit, you know, so that could be safety equipment. So whether it's, you know, in a specific sport, so, you know, for example, when I was in school, I used to play hockey. I got hit in the mouth with a ball because I wasn't wearing a gum shield, and my teacher hadn't enforced it, and I knocked into my teeth, and I had dental issues. So again, that personal kit is a key thing to be thinking about. The environment, so checking the space, poor coaching. But then there's other things you need to consider, such as the parents, peer pressure, poor officiating, poor preparation, but also then things around travel to and from fixtures and things like that, that all could be, you know, specific hazards that a player or performer is exposed to as in your coaching setting.